Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds like something straight out of a movie, but believe it or not, one ordinary-looking 1991 USA coin has sparked wild conversations among collectors and treasure hunters alike. At first glance, it's just another piece of loose change you might ignore, toss into a jar, or spend without a second thought, but hidden within a tiny number of these coins lies a story so bizarre, so unexpected, that even seasoned experts were left stunned. And here's the part that will really grab your attention: under the right conditions, with the right error or variation, this coin has been linked to jaw-dropping valuations reaching up to $50 million. Yes, you heard that right. Millions for something that once bought you almost nothing. Now, before you brush this off as hype, stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you look at every coin you touch, and trust me, you'll want to stay till the very end, because the next coin we'll talk about later makes this one look almost ordinary. But for now, let's dive deep into the mystery of the 1991 USA coin and why it has collectors losing sleep. Back in 1991, the United States Mint was operating at full capacity, producing millions upon millions of coins to meet the demands of everyday commerce. It was a time of transition, with improvements in minting technology, but also an era where small inconsistencies could still slip through the cracks. These inconsistencies, what collectors call mint errors, are where the magic begins. Among the vast ocean of 1991 coins, a few rare pieces were struck under unusual conditions: misaligned dies, off-center strikes, double impressions, and even subtle variations in metal composition. To the average person, these might look like defects. But to collectors, these are treasures. Now imagine this: a single coin, produced during a routine minting process, accidentally struck with a slightly rotated die, creating a doubling effect so faint that only under magnification does it reveal itself. Most people would never notice it. They'd spend it without hesitation. But in the world of numismatics, that tiny detail can mean everything. One such coin reportedly surfaced years later in a private collection, initially overlooked, until an expert took a closer look. What they found sent shockwaves through the collector community. The coin wasn't just rare, it was nearly unique in its characteristics. Combine that with its pristine condition, and suddenly, its value skyrocketed beyond anything anyone expected. And here's where things get even more interesting: condition plays a massive role. A worn-out 1991 coin. Probably worth face value. But a perfectly preserved one, graded at the highest levels, especially with a rare mint error. That's where you enter a completely different universe of value. We're talking about coins that have never been circulated, stored carefully for decades, untouched by time. These coins are like time capsules, preserving a moment in history with absolute clarity. Collectors chase them not just for profit, but for the thrill, the idea that something so small can hold such immense significance. Now let's talk about demand, because value doesn't exist without people willing to pay for it. The 1991 coin has gained a kind of legendary status in certain circles. Stories of rare finds, unexpected auctions, and private deals have fueled its reputation. Some collectors believe that only a handful of these ultra-rare variations exist, which only adds to the hype. And when rarity meets demand, prices can go absolutely wild. There have been whispers, yes, whispers, of private transactions where such coins were valued at staggering amounts, pushing that $50 million figure into the conversation. Whether every claim is verified or not doesn't even matter anymore, the legend itself has become part of the coin's identity. And that's what makes this so fascinating. It's not just about metal and minting, it's about mystery, storytelling, and the thrill of the hunt. Think about it, how many coins have passed through your hands over the years? Hundreds? Thousands? What if one of them was special, and you never knew? That's the thought that keeps collectors checking every single coin, every single time. Because the truth is, treasures like this don't announce themselves. They hide in plain sight, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize their worth. And here's something that might surprise you, even today, people are still discovering rare 1991 coins in old jars, forgotten drawers, and inherited collections. It's not some closed chapter of history, it's ongoing. Every day, there's a chance, however small, that someone stumbles upon one of these hidden gems. And that possibility? That's what keeps the excitement alive. Now before you start digging through your pockets, remember this: not every 1991 coin is valuable. The key lies in the details: mint marks, strike quality, errors, and overall condition. It's like a puzzle, and every piece matters. But if you do find something unusual, something that doesn't look quite right, don't ignore it. That tiny imperfection might be the very thing that turns an ordinary coin into an extraordinary fortune. And trust me, as we move forward in this journey, you'll realize that this is just the beginning. Because coming up next is a coin that pushes the boundaries even further, a coin with a story so unbelievable that it makes this one feel like just a warm-up. So keep watching, keep that curiosity alive, and most importantly, start paying attention to the coins around you, because you never know when history, luck, and opportunity might collide in the palm of your hand. Next, 2010 D5 USA coin. Most people spend this coin every single day without realizing it could quietly be one of the most shocking hidden treasures of modern times, and the wildest part is that it looks so normal you'd never think twice before handing it over at a store or dropping it into a vending machine. But buried within a handful of 2010 D5 coins is a story so unusual, so unexpected, that even seasoned collectors had to double-check what they were seeing, because this wasn't supposed to happen, not like this, not in such a routine year of minting, and yet here we are talking about a coin that under the right circumstances has been associated with staggering values reaching up to $60 million, a number so absurd it almost sounds like fiction, but as you're about to discover, the world of coin collecting has a habit of turning the impossible into reality. And if you thought the previous coin was something special, what you're about to hear will take things to a completely different level, so don't lose focus now because every detail matters and this might just change how you see even the smallest nickel forever. The year 2010 didn't seem particularly remarkable at first glance. The Denver Mint, marked by the small d on the coin, was doing what it always does, producing millions of Jefferson nickels for circulation across the United States. Nothing flashy, nothing historic, just another year in the long timeline of American coinage. But here's the thing about large-scale production. When you're making coins in such massive numbers, even the tiniest irregularity can slip through unnoticed, and sometimes those irregularities create something truly extraordinary, something that collectors spend years searching for without success, until suddenly, out of nowhere, one appears. Now imagine a scenario where a die used to strike these nickels develops a subtle flaw, maybe a microscopic crack, maybe a slight misalignment, or even an unexpected variation in pressure during the minting process, and instead of being caught immediately, it continues to produce coins, each one carrying a faint but unique signature of that imperfection, invisible to most people, but glaringly obvious to someone who knows exactly what to look for, and that's exactly where the legend of the 2010 5-cent coin begins to take shape. One of the most talked about possibilities surrounding this coin involves an extremely rare double die effect, where design elements like the lettering or the portrait of Thomas Jefferson appear slightly duplicated, almost like a shadow, but not in a way that screams error to the untrained eye. It's subtle, almost sneaky, and that's what makes it so dangerous in everyday circulation because people overlook it completely, spending it without a second thought while collectors would have stopped everything the moment they noticed it. But that's not all, because another layer of intrigue comes from reports of off-metal strikes, coins that were accidentally struck on planchets intended for different denominations or even experimental compositions, creating a piece that defies expectations both in weight and appearance, and when you combine that with a high-grade condition, coins that somehow avoided wear and tear despite being decades old, you get a perfect storm of rarity, desirability, and value that sends collectors into a frenzy. There have been accounts, some confirmed, others whispered in collector circles, of individuals discovering unusual 2010 nickels in rolls from banks, completely unaware of what they had until a closer inspection revealed something extraordinary, and that moment, that realization, is what every collector dreams about. The idea that a life-changing discovery could happen during something as ordinary as sorting through spare change. And let's talk about why this coin has captured so much attention, because it's not just about rarity, it's about timing. Modern coins are often overlooked in the collecting world because people assume that only older coins carry significant value, but when a modern coin like the 2010 nickel breaks that expectation, it creates a ripple effect, drawing in both seasoned collectors and curious newcomers, all hoping to find the next big discovery, and that surge in interest only drives the perceived value higher, especially when stories begin to circulate about extreme valuations and private deals that push the boundaries of what people thought possible for a simple 5-cent coin. Think about how many nickels you've handled without even glancing at them, how many times you've heard that metallic clink and ignored it completely, because it's just 5 cents, right? But what if one of those nickels was different? What if it carried a hidden detail that could completely change its worth? Would you even notice, or would it slip through your fingers like countless others before it? And that's the real twist in this story. The idea that something so small, so common, can hold such immense potential without announcing itself. Collectors today examine these coins with incredible precision, using magnification, weight measurements, and even advanced imaging techniques to identify the slightest anomalies, because in this game, the smallest detail can mean the difference between a coin worth face value and one worth a fortune, and the 2010 5-cent coin sits right at the center of that possibility. A modern mystery that continues to evolve as new discoveries are made and new stories emerge. And now, as this journey comes to its final stretch, here's the truth you need to hear. Coins like this aren't just collectibles. They're reminders that value can hide in the most unexpected places, that history is still being written, and that sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't locked away in vaults or museums, but quietly circulating in the world around us, waiting for someone to notice, waiting for someone like you to take a closer look, because once you start seeing coins differently, There's no going back. Every piece of change becomes a question, a possibility, a story waiting to be uncovered, and who knows, maybe the next time you reach into your pocket, you won't just find a nickel, you might find something extraordinary.